Thanks for the opportunity for Mac for obviously to talk today. Just a quick brief. I know it's getting late in the conference and a few big nights and stuff, so I've got no graphs in my presentation. It's very picture heavy, so hopefully I can keep you interested. And yes, I will be keeping an eye on John Pepple, if anyone can point him out for me, just to make sure he stays awake. So he'll be my govern for if I've made it interesting or not. So, yeah, like Dio said, we're from the mid-north in South Australia. For those who drink red wine, we're about 70 k's north of the Clarke Valley. So most of South Australia is governed by where the red wine comes from. So we're north of the Clarke Valley. Brief overview, pretty much self-explanatory. Scott's my brother and his wife, myself and my wife, and mum and dad. Mum and dad are Carlton supporters. I go for West Coast Eagles. We aren't from a low socio-economic area, but my brother goes for Port Adelaide, and he's got all his teeth too. So 1,300 hectares. Beans, canola, wheat. Generally, we're starting to push into a bit of barley now. We run sheep, but they don't go on our cropping country. They go on our arable stuff, and we don't like hay on our. It doesn't fit our system, so now we lease country to grow hay on. So we wreck other people's country. So they think we're cleaning up their ryegrass, but really we're just raping their country pretty much. So haven't got any neighbours here, so I can say that. Starting point. This is our very undulating country. You can see the contour banks, pretty much unable to auto steer it, stock in the system. Dry seasons of those 6, 7, 8. Is there a better way? Part of our way of moving to CTF sort of combined a disc seeder and a stripper front and all that sort of stuff. We're trying to take out the howler. That's the whole reason of our system. We were going all right, making money in good years, breaking even in the average years, but we were going backwards in the howler. So our whole motivation for the system was to take that howler out of our system. If we can just go from an average year and then clean up in the big years. We just didn't want to go backwards. Same paddock, looks a bit different now. So obviously contours are out, sheep are gone. Yeah. 0809 seeding, brown box on the John Deere, most people know that. Easy Guide 500 on the sprayer, lots of marks. But straight away, we made a 10% increase because we went to auto steer. So in our opinion, if you've got auto steer, you are controlling your traffic. It's probably the wrong conference to say, it's probably to bastardise the system. But as soon as you go into auto steer, you save 10% straight away, just from your inputs and everything else. Real beginning of the journey. Reasonable year, our crops are very inconsistent. You can see by the photo, 12 metre seed, a 30 metre boom, 10.8 offset header, 80 metre spreader, and we're up to 48% traffic. That's sown with an 1870, 1.8 kilos, and you can see the inconsistency, and we were struggling with the stubble ability of the 1870. Shot from 2011, dropped jewels off the tractor, much as Dad's discussed. Some machinery was 2 metres, some was 3 metres. So I think the best way to explain to that situation was a dog's breakfast, pretty much. And you can see there, the crops were still pretty uneven, so we were just going for that balanced, even crop over the whole farm. Straw that broke the camel's back, we will always use stored run lines. We're on Starfire 1, nudging to the inter-road, starting on the tracks. Started to get iPhones, so we needed plenty more time to get on the internet and have a look at stuff. Didn't want to be nudging all the time. So end of 2011, ordered John Deere header with a 10.65, sent them out, no axle extensions. We actually run 800 tyres on our header. It's purely for the undulation. You can see in that photo and the people that have been to our farm. But it's billy goat country, pretty steep. Partnership ended with our cousins of the spreader, so we bought a Breedle on 3.05, ability to spread out gypsum and lime and urea. So a 10.675 system, 35 feet. Added 2 nozzles. I was actually going to call my presentation the tight-ass way to go to control traffic, but I didn't think that was probably that appropriate. So we ended up with 32 metres, minimal cost, boom spreader. So we started to get our ducks in a row, so to speak. I'll just go back. That workshop isn't actually ours. I can't claim to have that good a workshop. It's the local machinery dealer that we Probably the closest thing education I've got is a PhD in changing tyres and spinning them around and shifting them in and out and all that sort of stuff. So 2012, we're close enough to Western Australia, the poor old South Australians. We just get everything second-hand from Western Australia when they've done it, when they're done with it. So second-hand set of wheel spacers, AT25, tied us as we are, local dealer our stuff up, so we got them cheap. Local engineer put the hauled cart out to 3 metres in the back axle, still had the caster wheels, which drove us up the wall. But I'll come back to the seater, 1890 disc seater. It's one of the original photos. Sorry, Sega's got a liquid system on as well. One of our early photos. Everything we buy, we pretty much cut it up. 35 is not a standard sort of thing. So as the old man said, if my sons buy something, they tend to take it to someone and get it cut up or extended or whatever. So we're down to, we're at 14% now, and that's because we run wider tyres on a header, we're actually 12 plus the header, just for the terrain we're in. RTK came in because of our undulating country. Dealer wanted us to go on their system, but we had too many black spots, so we ended up, to get it all, we had to have 4 repeaters, so we kept losing accuracy over the hills and stuff. We sold our 8320 to our cousins privately, $1,800 on the auger extender, and one very big blue. That's the biggest blue I've had with my brother, was over the auger extender. Don't put one on in the middle of harvest when you just have a brainwave. It's a bit testy. Biggest blue we've ever had. And as everyone knows that have got brothers, tend to have some blues. But we improved. Dad bought an 8320 off John Nicoletti in the Hyden pub in Western Australia when he was driving around, just cruising around. Tyres were in power hocking, I think someone else said it yesterday, might have been Michael. Power hock on tyres was wrecking our tram lines going up the hill, so we ended up with a tractor. 2008-12 we varied P. We thought we were going to kill the world with variate, first people around our area to do it, but our match kept swapping from our flats to our hills, so we ended up actually going away from variate, and we've evened our crops up. We were chasing our tail all the time to get too much inconsistencies, and so we put a lot on the flats because they yielded well last year, and then they'll get a dry year and the hills out yield, and so we didn't have a fertiliser in the right spot. So test high and low spots in our paddocks, and we were going to kill the world with testing high and low spots, and the only difference was organic carbon, pretty much, from our high to low stuff. Soil looks different to everything else, but nutritionally wise, the only difference was the organic carbon. So we back RTK. So the run on the left is sown, so you can't really tell the difference. So auto steer is pretty essential because you can't really tell where you're going. Seeding, yeah. We ended up having a bit of issues with, didn't have issues. A few things went on and we ended up with a shellborne stripper front just for the ease of management. Spreading, that's going in early, we go pretty early with disc. Naturally we can't use a lot of fertiliser, so got the liquid system, we put a bit up front, and yeah, in pretty early. Spreader does most of our work, that's our busiest machine. So there we've got 15 week, canola 14 week, 13. It's not our standard rotation, but it's just a good example of the biomass was starting to build up. And the way the General was speaking yesterday, that's our carbon. That's where it is in our paddock, General. It's all in a pile there. We're working on building that up. We want as much straw as we can into our paddocks. Beans in row sown. We've got this natural thing called frost that normally knocks off all the bottom flowers anyway, so we don't have to worry about reaping them. You can really bank on that. Just about the taxman takes your money, the frost takes our low bean pods pretty much. Wheel tracks 2015, starting to get them narrowed up pretty well. We started, our tram lines are actually 1.2 metres wide, but now we're getting them narrowed up just from varying soils and varying wheel tracks, and as we've gone over time, over 9 years or whatever, we've got them down pretty well now. So we still sow our trams, one for erosion. In our steeper country, we just want to put something on them, and we went to this seeder, our ryegrass disappeared, so to speak, but anywhere where we would put a tyre, we grow ryegrass. So that's why everyone's got their own reasoning. There's plenty of holes in my presentation, but that's probably one there. That's our current seeding system. All would have done 12 years, 12 seasons. We had the liquid system on 2630, and it's very fortunate that those carts, they sold a heap of them on the Eyre Peninsula. They didn't have a pressurised kit on them, so they couldn't sow oats. So then they all come up for sale cheap, and being the tight asses we are, we changed over to that one pretty well. Put a pressure kit on it, and now we can sow. Fix that sort of thing. CTF at work, just a couple of slides. You can see there, water sitting in the wheel tracks. That is, for us it's flat, for probably driving through Victoria now it's probably not flat for you blokes. Western Australia it's not flat, but that's flat for us, and you can see the infiltration in the paddock and the row. Water running down the rows, just with that bit of crop in there. Generally doesn't reach it to harvest, but it just holds that ground together if we do get that, because we're steep, it's just a compromise. Canola reef's responding to many subsoil complaints. We're having less issues with Sunday soils, control traffic. It's not one thing people ask us, is it your control traffic, is it your disc feeder, is it your stripper front? Probably it's a 1% thing over 10 things that make up a 10% difference. Spreader, actually got a wash there. Probably the main thing of this one is that tractor, the 8225's got narrow axles, same thing. Bought it second hand, being tight asses, and then we went into CTF and we had narrow axles, so we actually got a set of spaces made up. So just adapting things, we're not spending a lot of money, we're not going to buy new tractors and stuff, we're just adapting what we had. So that's spreading in crop. That paddock there, my brother was spreading urea, I was spraying, we actually ended up in the same paddock. So that's 10 minutes after we finished, that's had the sprayer and spreader all in it in the last hour, so minimal damage. Started to get a few results, a lot more even from the early photos to here, so over a 6 or 7 year CTF disc, so we started to even out our crops, that was our goal from the start. Germinations, that's beans growing in stripper straw, you see the flowers are up top. Stripper straw helps us get our flowers up and get the plant up so we can harvest it. As everywhere, we've got hills, we've got rocks. I'm a bit fat and lazy and don't like to pick too many. So, yeah, it just helps with its harvestability. Germination, we're getting our crops pretty consistent. We struggled with head emergence, trying to get it even in our situation from a myriad of factors, soil types and everything else. So we're starting to get the head emergence even liquid systems, helping us put micronutrients, trace elements into the system early in the year so that we can get that even spike, let's say with your spike at the finish. Low rainfall, 2015-16 wet springs, and started to even our crops out, and we were getting pretty chuffed with what we were doing. Uniform crops. Social media, I am on Twitter, Luke at Forest View if you want to follow me. And anyway, heard of a bloke that stuffed up a brew in his boom spray and put it on Twitter and wanted everyone to help him out and find out what went wrong. And then I heard that he traded it in and it got written off, so we bought a 4930 for $80,000 off an insurance company. Had a mate in Adelaide at the lab, got a pocket knife scraped off his grease pretty much out of the boom spray. Took my pocket knife down to a mate in Adelaide, picked up a shuttle of stuff that he told me not to ask what it was, pumped it through the boom spray and bang, she was as good as new. So again, the tight ass coming out. Results, canola never used to be able to do that, getting straight, tap root. Bean root mass, things starting to really happen. Beans don't like tight soils. We've got a lot of beans. Poor photo, but that's our 3-to-1 system. Bean spray coming down the heavy run lines. We're talking heavy and light traffic run lines. Wheel marks starting to disappear. So in the earlier photos, we're getting 1.2 in the earlier photos. We're down to 800 now. We're getting pretty happy with where we are. Some photo of the ryegrass down the bottom here, that's the wheel track. Sorry, that's wheel track down the bottom there, and that's a general field, so anywhere where we put a tyre, we generally end up with ryegrass. A few metres away it's clean, so pretty evident. Unloading the chaser bin on the tram lines, hence the big blue about the auger extension, but yeah, it works, we're happy with it. That's a picture there. If people don't think that controlled traffic's a bit of a joke, you can see up here in the middle where semi-contracted carting hay, dropped in the yard, got a bit lost, went for a drive out in the paddock, and that's 3 years later. We've got the wheel tracks results, tramline, can't bury a pair of sunnies. Very short people like me off them. Fails, don't turn sharp, fast. When you've got worn tyres, things get ugly. Old man was driving and he wasn't real happy. Ruts, we have them, there's no hiding from them, we have wet years. Spreader pattern, we actually changed our header over. We bought a header without a spreader, and so we're struggling with the shaft, so it was actually cheaper to change the header over. The tyres buggered. We go through tyres pretty quickly on headers just with the undulation. So we wanted to chopper and a new set of tyres, and it was cheaper just to buy another header. So we bought the same thing, just had a chopper. The only reason that photo's in there, a German was out from John Deere, and he was pretty good at photography, so I just think it's a cool photo. So that's why it's in. Right, thank you.